Hi, this is Brad Lamensdorf at Active Alts, and we're going to be talking about short squeeze. It's all in the papers. I wanted to buckle down and explain a lot more about how all of this works. To begin with, we open an account at a brokerage firm. The brokerage firm is basically going to allow you to trade at their firm. They typically give you an option to trade in a Type 1 account or a Type 3 account. A Type 3 account is what's called in street name. Now, what does that mean? That means you're in a margin account, and any stocks that you put into your Type 3 account, the brokerage firms and the securities lending firms of those brokerage houses have access to those securities without telling you to be able to lend them out. So a Type 1 account is a cash account. So they can't really get to those securities. So if you were to call your brokerage firm, for instance, and say, I do have a Type 3 account, but I want my IBM in a Type 1 cash account, they certainly can accommodate for that. So what's been going on Wall Street with inside of all the short squeezes? So many of these securities that Reddit and the Robinhood are targeting have been highly shorted, and some of them have been what's called naked shorted, which means that if there's only 100 million shares outstanding in a company, it's pretty hard for me to understand how 140% could be short, which means some of the brokerage firms and some of the security lending divisions within those brokerage firms are not paying attention to their compliance. They're allowing shorts to be lent out that they actually don't have the secured borrow, which is legally needed for them to be able to then move it over to someone to lend it to them to short. Another thing to be thinking about with inside of this ecosystem is that when you do borrow a security from a brokerage firm, they traditionally are charging interest on some of them. We have strategies that we run. We traditionally do not operate short positions. We actually like to buy some stocks that we happen to like fundamentally that are highly shorted for this reason. But they do charge a fee for that. And in some of the stocks that are highly shorted, they may charge upwards of 30, 40, 50% interest a year. So think about the conflict of interest that some of these brokerage firms and securities lending divisions can have when they can lend something out and start getting 50% returns on that lend. So it's really something very interesting to think about. Also, everybody's talking about the amount of buying power that Reddit really has and the Robinhood crew to be able to push these stocks. But in reality, if they were to just move all of their securities and get a large group of people to move securities from a Type 2 account, from a Type 3 account to a Type 1 account, what would happen is the securities lending divisions would lose a tremendous amount of inventory to be able to lend these securities out to the short sellers. So what would happen? What would happen is they would turn around and call the short sellers and say, listen, we just lost our borrows and you're going to have to cover some stock yourself. So there's other ways to create short squeezes other than just buying the stock and running it up. So there's a very big difference between a Type 3 account and a Type 1 account. I'm Brad Lamensdorf at Active Alts. You can get our information at free research at lmtr.com. And you can get our activealts.com is our money management division where we run a long short and another focus momentum strategy that's also on the website. Thank you very much.